Hello guys, gals, and non-binary pals, welcome back to my channel, and today I want to talk over how much I made so far in the weeks leading up to patch 6.3. I'll go over everything that I've sold, what I held on to, what mistakes I made, and price comparisons. So with all that being said, let's get into it. So far, it's been an amazing few weeks leading up to patch 6.3. It's the first time I ever really went in on a stockpile. I never invested this much gil in basically anything. So it's really exciting to finally get the stuff I've been holding on to out there. Though of course, with any big venture, you're gonna get some wins and you're gonna get some losses. But let's go over what I sold and what I held on to first. And side note, if you want the written version of everything I'm going to say here, it will of course be in the blog post linked down below. It of course also comes out earlier than the videos, so I do recommend you checking that out. So what exactly sold? First off, crafting material. All types of crafting material, although I held on some for myself or to continue selling later on. I also sold a ton of gathering material. All types of course, and I also kept some for myself. I also sold a ton of immutable solutions. I have like 10 of them left. I had 2 full stacks, bought them at around 3k to 4k, and sold them at around 5k to 6k. I also sold a bunch of script materials, Birkanan sap for 2k each, and Light Gerbera for 600 to 700 gil each when they were at that price. Tombstone materials, I was hopping back and forth from light where tombstone materials were around 4 to 5k, and on chaos it was around from 6 to 7k. So a pretty good flip, especially when people are buying stacks on stacks on stacks of them. Intermediates, fully crafted high quality intermediates. I sold half of everything that I had and I'm keeping half for later. And exteriors, I sold a ton of them even a month before the patch. Crafting exteriors in general is a great way to make gil if you are able to, of course. You need an FC to do that and you need to have the crafts unlocked. So now what did I hold on to? First off, trial materials, of course. Since we don't have a trial weapon out yet until 6.3, I won't bother with them. I'm gonna keep them, not sell them, even though it's quite tempting since I bought them at around 150,000 to 200,000. Now they're around 400k, 500k each. Ooh, I really want to sell it, but no, I'm waiting because I know during the patch, if they indeed come out, which of course is either gonna be Warrior of Light or one of the Ruby, Diamond, Emerald weapons, then they're gonna be at like 1.4 mil. I'm gonna wait. I also held on to intermediates and tombstone materials, of course, since nobody is crafting with them yet, nobody is really using them yet. Only until the crafting and gathering gear comes out is when we're gonna see the need absolutely jump to the sky when people are actually using it for crafts. I also have a ton of white script materials left over for myself to craft because I'm going to be crafting a ton of white scripts since I'm going to need them for the brand new Slither Sand equivalent, which of course we don't know if it's going to come out. It's a prediction, but if it is, I'm going to be crafting a ton of them because it's going to be expensive. I also held on to extra exteriors. I'm going to go ahead, craft and refill, excluding the ones I still have, especially since none of the houses actually came out yet. It's just people buying ahead of time, so there's plenty of time, like a week until the lottery actually ends after 6.3 actually comes out, so I'm gonna have plenty of time to craft more exteriors. I also held on to Kingcraft diamond materia and trial weapon materials. Of course, you could sell Kingcraft right now. It's around 2.3k to 3.3k depending if you bought them to stockpile on or if you crafted them. If you crafted for them, it's totally fine to sell them now, but if you bought them, I would wait until trial weapons are actually out and people are actually crafting. I also kept some material for myself, of course, to meld and to continue selling. So overall, I spent on my stockpile 170 million gil. Of course, things were a lot cheaper back in October, November, a little bit at the very beginning of December. After that, it started to get very expensive. How much I've made back so far? 110 million gil. It feels really good. And how much is my inventory worth now? Well, I just checked it, 233 mil but I'll show you over on Teamcraft. Well, now it's worth 262 million. Things are going up constantly. Every hour, stuff is changing, but I've noticed that things are just going up. Plate of Light is now 500,000 each. Emerald plating, ruby plating, and diamond plating is 400k each. Guerdon 10s are staying steady at 11,000 each. Guiles are also at 11,000 each. The Bay Bearing Cloth and the Tombstone materials are going up steadily. And of course, reminder, nobody's crafting yet, which is so exciting because I know that it's going to go up even higher once the patch hits. Of course, the Vanadite is at 7k. Another tombstone material, cutting material, is 7k, which is quite nice. I was a little bit worried when it dropped to 5k, 6k, but it's steadily going up. And of course, reminder, nobody's melting yet, so just wait. Hold guys, okay? Just hold, you know? Don't worry if you're worrisome or you still have some left over. As long as you're selling it for more than you bought it at, then you're fine. The Titan boa leather, crafted 26k each. That is insane. I have 204 of them. I will continue crafting, but I already have 5 million worth of them already. Large forge walls, 5 mil. More Guerdon, some Guerdon 9s, 5k each. Illimite ingots, 30,000 each. Wow. Gonna have to craft more of those. Large florist walls, medium forge walls, more cutting materia, cafe walls, competence, and command. I'm holding on to these. Again, nobody is melding, and these are kind of like the ones that people don't really think about until they need them. So of course, I'm gonna wait with that. Some command 9s, of course, keeping them for myself for melding. Guerdon 9s, Guile 9s, and the king crafting materia is pretty low. This is the lowest I've seen it so far, but of course, I'm waiting until the trial weapons come out. Light Berbera right now is 900 gil each. I'm very happy, and when this is done, I'm gonna go ahead and post everything. That is awesome. Integral lumber. Remember, every time it gets closer to the patch, base materials, integral lumber, chondrite ingot, ethereal, silk all go up. So if you mid-patch see it for selling at like 500, 600, 800 gil, it wouldn't hurt to buy it, especially when you know you're going to need it later. And especially since the new exterior will be coming out, these materials will be worth a lot more. The diamond weapon bust. I have a ton of trial trophies because naturally, if the material goes up in price due to it being used in a weapon, then the furniture items will also go up in price. That's why I have a whole load of them. The emerald weapon bust is 600k now. Burkinian sap, 600 gil each, not bad. Sold mine for 2k when it was at 2k. Although if you purchase Burkinian sap at 200 a piece, now 3 times the price. Pretty good. Tungsten steel ingots now at 2.4k. I'm also holding onto my crafters delineations because of course nobody's crafting yet and nobody's really gonna need it until the crafts come out. Now crystals. Shards are a lot more expensive right now, but again, nobody's crafting, so of course I'm holding on to things like wind crystals, lightning crystals, fire clusters, but I would sell some wind shards, some earth crystals, and fire shards since they're already pretty expensive. But now that is everything I sold and everything that I still have. Let's go over the mistakes I've made. Well, what were the mistakes? Gathering materia is very finicky. There is an overabundance. People have way too much gathering materia, and I suspect a little bit of bot behavior. Now, I personally don't like to go ahead and start saying, oh, it's a bot. It's a bot. It's definitely a bot. It's maybe not a bot. I'm not going to say that, but it is bot behavior. Every time a price is going steady, somebody undercuts it to the same exact price every single time. And usually it's in the similar stacks, 25, 25, 25, 25 for 2.5k. And it makes it very, very difficult to sell gathering materia. Specifically with gathering materia, I've noticed crafting materia not so much, doesn't really happen. And even though I tried to buy this person out and keep up the price to a reasonable price, because materia grasp fine. Nobody really uses grasp. Let's go and check a different materia. It's the same story with Guile, 10k for a stack of 99 every single time. Even though it's going steady at 13k, 10k. And even though it's not posted right now, it is the same with Guerdon 10s. 10.9k for stacks of 99, even though the price usually goes steady at around 14k, sometimes 15k. Guerdon 10s as well. It's going steady at 14k, 15k, that's the usual price. Somebody posts it for 10k, a stack of 99. But even though I said that crafting material is a little bit better, still has its faults. 24k going steady, somebody posted it for 15k, and someone posted a stack of 67 for 15k. Now I think this person is trying to catch people who are undercutting without thinking. So this guy is probably posting 3 for 15k. Every time someone undercuts him, he buys it out. Because if you buy it at 15k and sell it for 25k, you just made a 10k profit per each. So please be careful, undercut with the brain, because this happens all the time, especially with command 10s. And you know, I'm just gonna go buy that 15k one out right now. You also have to really manage your undercutting with crafting materia. Not just 10s, it's also 9s and 7s. Not only do you have to manage with your undercutting, you have to undercut a lot, and you have to make sure that you're not undercutting somebody like that. I also made the mistake with getting a ton of time no gatherables with the expectation that I could flip them for a higher later on. It's not the case. It is staying very steady at 1000 to 900 gil, which is pretty absurd thinking as to how it's a time node. It takes a lot of time to go ahead to each node at the right time, get a whole load, come back, go back when it's time. It's just a lot of work for 900 gil. Even if you buy out, keep it steady at 1.2k, somebody's gonna drop 20 stacks of 99 for 900 gil all over again. So it's just really not worth it unless you're gathering and you think that this might be a valuable use of your time. I would instead get all these and just craft the intermediate. You'll make a lot more gil that way rather than spending time gathering. I also made the mistake of not getting enough immutable solutions. They used to be at around 3k each. I went ahead and got 2 full stacks, but I would be very happy with 3 full stacks because selling at 5k and people buy so much at a time, I would have made a bit more gil. But I am happy with the amount I got, but I could have got just a bit more. So all in all, the mistakes weren't that bad. Honestly, the biggest mistake that I made was with the gathering materia and not being careful with all that. But now let's go over what I actually did right. The first thing I did right was tracking how much I spent on items previously. That way, the moment stuff went up, I could sell stuff immediately, knowing that I made profit. I also sold off all my colored ether sand earlier when it was actually worth something. Now it's at a measly 48 gil each, which is pretty crazy considering how much work it takes to get the ether sand, but okay, it's 48 gil now. But you will see that I went ahead and bought a full few stacks of the Endwood ether sand. Why would I buy it? It's not going to be used for anything else, right? Well, the colored ether sands from Shadowbringers are actually pretty expensive right now. This is the HD ether sand right now. You can sell it for around 1k each. The Age Wood ether sand, you can sell it for 600 each. So if I go ahead and buy it for 48 gil right now, I'd sell it later on for a bit more. I also bought crystals a lot earlier, and since prices are up, I really don't want to be wasting time or gil trying to get crystals later on when I need them for a way more expensive price. I'm happy I got it 2 months ago. The next thing, exteriors netted me a ton of profit. Even just selling it normally without being near any special patch or the releasing of houses, it nets you a ton of profit for the amount spent, but you do have to spend a bit of time. I also stocked on basic materials, integral lumber, ethereal silk, and a lot of the basic items like integral lumber is as is every time with every miniature patch. I'm also very happy that I stocked up on white script materials. Definitely don't want to be buying them when I need them during 6.3, and buying platings when they were around 150 to 200k each. So happy I went and got that, and I got a ton thankfully. So even if I sell it at 400k, it is a double profit right there. But now let's go ahead and look at the price comparisons from the data I collected 2 months ago from October up until now. So let's start off with trial materials. Now it's a tiny bit blurry, but it is 143,000 for ruby plating. And right now the ruby plating is 394,000. The emerald plating was 144,000, and the emerald plating right now is 396,000. The diamond plating was 124,000, and right now it is 400,000. the plate of light was 400,000, and the plate of light right now is 499,000, almost 500,000. But I also had the price of some Endwalker trial materials. So the Crystal of Divine Light was 200,000, and the Crystal of Divine Light is right now 270,000-ish. The Pearl of Winds was 391,000, but right now it is 375,000, not much of a difference. Next would be the Blue Feather at 254,000, right now at 692,000, which is quite a jump. My recommendation is if you see it at around 200k, especially when people are farming the fight like crazy for the weapon, prices will naturally drop, and I do recommend buying it then, not when it's this expensive. Now let's go ahead and look at materia prices. First off is Cutting Materia 7 at 7.4k, right now at 7k-ish. Definitely, if you bought it at this price, do not be selling it right now, because if that's mid-patch prices, you're better off waiting. That is why it is so important to make sure to remember what you bought things at, or record it like me in some form of blog post or notepad or anything. Just make sure you're always selling for a profit. But if you craft it with white scripts, then it's probably profit even at 6.7k, but make sure you're selling it at a high instead of a low. Next up is Guerdon Materia 10s at 5k each. Guerdon 10s right now are 14k each, which is pretty good, unless of course you buy out the guide that posts it for 10k, but at 14k of course that is pretty good. Command 10s at 10k each, now at 24, almost 25k each. That's why it is so important to go ahead and start prepping 2 months before the patch and not a week before. Cutting Materia 10s at 6k each. Cutting Materia 10s now at 12.5k each. Competence Materia 10s at 10k each, now at 20, almost 21k each. And finally, Guile Materia 10s at 8k each, now at 10k, but usually for 13.5k. And now let's move on to crystals, shards, and clusters. 2 months ago, it was selling for around 30 gil each for fire crystals. Right now, fire crystals are selling for 70 gil each. For wind crystals, they were selling for around 33 gil each. Now they are selling for 68 gil each. Fire shards for 89 and are selling now for 68. Wind shards at 84 and they are right now at 76. Lightning shards at 71 but are selling right now for around 78. Water crystals for 22 gil before and are now for selling for around 70 gil each. Earth crystals were around 6 gil each, sometimes 11. Now they're at 21 gil each. Lightning crystals were at 10 gil each, now selling for around 35 to 50 gil. Fire clusters were around 34 gil each, and now they're at 22 to 31. Lightning clusters at 92 gil each, and now they are at 89. Water clusters were around 46 gil each, but now they're at 43 gil. And earth clusters were around 2 gil each to 4 gil, and now they're at 7 gil, but usually they're around 19 to 29. So all in all with crystals, I feel like the best ones to flip for the patch is the crystals, not shards, and clusters will be good after the patch actually drops whenever people start crafting. Mid-patch though, shards do go up, so that is something to keep in mind. But likely crystals and the clusters are also something I can use, and crystals I already flipped for quite a good amount of profit. Next up is white script materials, specifically with Rarefied Drought. Birkanan sap was selling for around 200 gil to 300 gil each, and the light Gerbera was for around 500 gil each. Right now, the light Gerbera is reaching 1.2k each, and the Birkanan sap is around 400 to 500 to almost 600 gil each, especially if you're looking for stacks 99. Now let's move on to my favorite part, the intermediate material. First off is the Titan Boa leather, selling for 12k to 15k. High quality cheapest 12.5k. Right now normal quality is 24k each and high quality is 120,000, but I think you're better off selling it at 40,000, 50,000 if you want to be real mean, but 40,000 is more realistic. Next up is the Titan Aboba skin. Right now at previously around 6.8k to 8k a piece, previously at 6 to 7k a piece, now still also at 6.9k, 7k, 8k a piece, which is interesting. I'm personally gonna go ahead and buy this out since I know I can craft it high quality and make a ton more gil that way. The Thavenarian Almondine at around 5k a piece. Right now, 6.3k to 6.5k a piece. The related quartz was selling for around cheapest normal quality 9.4k a piece, cheapest high quality 13.6k a piece. Now related quartz is selling for 22k cheapest for normal quality and 29k for high quality. The Pale Boom Kudzu cloth was selling for 8.7k a piece, but now is selling for 7.4k a piece, so cheaper than before. The Bayberry cloth was selling high quality at 13.5k and normal quality at 9.4k, is now selling high quality at 24k, and the normal quality cheapest is 30k. Now I actually forgot to include the ilmenite ingot in, but right now the ilmenite ingot is at around 30k a piece for high quality, 29k for normal quality. But overall, with intermediates and the materials for it, around the time I posted this blog post, the materials were a bit more expensive, although a month after that it went down for a lot cheaper. I remember buying Pale Boom Kudzu cloth for around 4k a piece, 3k if I got lucky or Hop to Light. It was a lot cheaper, but of course, keeping track of everything that you buy helps. And if you're worried about whether or not you bought it at a good enough price to sell it for a profit, just turn it into an intermediate and sell the high quality version. You're gonna make a ton of gil guaranteed that way. And the Paldo lumber is around 15k for normal quality, 19k-ish for 20k to 22k for high quality. And finally, the endgame gatherables, which, spoiler alert, it's actually not that great. The prices did not go up at all. It is literally the exact same, which again, I will say is just a bit odd and a bit sad for the gatherers that we love and care so much about. My goodness, it is just very hard to make gil with gathering. Your best bet to make gil with gathering is gather the heck out of the first 2 days or 3 days of the patch. Go ahead, get all the endgame legendary nodes, post it, sell it. That's the best time to be a gatherer, at the very start until stuff updates. But you know, let's go ahead and take a look. So Hiriataki was around 900 gil a piece, Bayberry was around 1.3k a piece, and raw rutilated quartz was around 400 gil a piece. The Hiriataki is around 988 gil a piece, Bayberry is 1k a piece, and the raw rutilated quartz is around 590 gil a piece, so not much of an increase. But before I forget, the ilmenite is 900 gil a piece, and also the Paldo log is 690 gil a piece. So that's all I have for you today, everything that happened to me and my stockpile so far until patch 6.3, which comes out tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your stockpile is going well. I hope you're selling enough for you to feel very happy with what you did, and if you made mistakes like me, I would love to hear what you did wrong so we can all have a learning experience. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to check out the blog post. I'll of course link it down below. Thank you to our YouTube members, Twitch subs, and Discord boosters. You all keep the channel going. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to, and I will hopefully see you in the next video. Bye bye.